Start. You know, with the amount of like stress that comes with live streaming and stuff like that, you'd think I would do less of it.
How many times do you do it per week?
Usually every week, sometimes twice in a week. It's on average like six
Per month?
per month. But I mean, I can always add
Whoa.
in more. But it's
Yeah.
just like the day, the typical stream.
No, that's a lot actually.
Yeah, I mean, some people do like a monthly stream. Some people, what I don't get is like the daily streamers. First off, who the hell wants to like look at me every day? Be like, hey, here you go.
Well, I think they're probably inspired by the
Mm-hmm.
YouTube algorithm that says that, or it used to be the case actually. It used to
Mm-hmm.
be the case that if you uploaded a video every day, I think that's what's his face, Mr. Beast did for like 5 years. He updated, or
Mm-hmm.
like PewDiePie, like those big YouTubers. At some point, it was like daily, 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 and daily vlog was like what was
Yeah,
considered the thing that the algorithm would pick up most. I
the
think
algo's
now
different
what,
now.
yeah, the algo's different. So posting every day wouldn't actually, it might be the opposite.
Yeah, because I know I don't watch Mr. Beast stuff really, but I do know he uploads once a month. I think he does one big video a month, and he has some other channels that do other things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like,
Well, now the scale of his operations is insane. The
yeah,
the
he's a little
scale of
bit of
his
a
videos are like
he's a little bit of a
off the
nut.
chart.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dude to. I guess he's a guy after my own heart in some ways because he's the person that just wanted to do something and figured out how to do it, and that's about it. There's not a
And
lot
he
of
did.
fluff in between. You know, there's not a lot of like, oh, well, I went to school for this, or oh, I had misgivings about that. He just was like, I want to do YouTube. Just started doing YouTube,
Yeah.
and that's it.
No, he did, and he. I mean, if you, yeah, no, that's there's a lot good of I think to say about him,
Mm-hmm.
and he, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's difficult to do what he's doing. Actually, it looks easy. You'd think, oh my god, he's just putting like nice, cute content and giving
Mm-hmm.
money to people, like you know,
But how do you?
brainless content. But it's another thing to be there, 5 years later and to still be in the top and to still get millions of views every time you upload. It says something.
That's one of those things. Is brainless content is some of the most difficult stuff to do right because
I
not
would
only saying
agree, actually.
brainless, but it's not just difficult to do right. It's there's so much. It's like you're doing like a symphony of background things to just keep that attention. It's just like people talk smack about TikTok all the time. I mean, it does invade your privacy and stuff like that. There's no getting around that. But the kind of content, the ability to capture a narrative in a very short period of time, and if you don't get it within like 2 seconds, they're gone to the next thing. And if you can just like some of the content created on TikTok is some of the best, in the world. And I thought it was kind of funny. I remember a few months ago, Naomi was doing TikToks, and my TikToks were getting more. Oh, I mean, I just upload like episode clips. I do almost nothing, but mine were getting more views than hers, and I'm like, that's not right. Like she has a way bigger channel. She should be much more popular. And then she started doing these purpose built TikTok, like making exclusive content for TikTok and like in a little format. And she got one of them went viral, went like 500,000 views and stuff like that. And so she finally like hacked the code and wasn't just like putting up stuff, it was like putting up purpose built stuff that I actually find pretty engaging. And sometimes, you catch people
It's
listening to
it's
them.
really difficult actually to create good content. And
Mm-hmm.
each platform has its own quirks and each platform has its own audience, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, it takes a few trials and errors on TikTok and other platforms until you get it right. And
Yeah.
I think I'm not in the influencer game. I'm not trying to be an influencer. I'm just trying to put out
You're not even trying. You're
whatever
just
I'm just,
succeeding anyway.
huh?
You're not even trying. You're just succeeding anyway.
Something like
The
that. No, it's
accidentalinfluencer.com.
I don't want to, it's like I can't be bothered. Like I can't be bothered. I I was working with a marketing team, and they wanted so much more out of me, and they were like, "Oh my God, Ellie, every day do this, film yourself, do so much more content. Like, we need to see your face on things. That's what sells. No one cares about educational posts." And I don't care enough. So
Yeah.
I recognize the hard work actually in every influencer, or just wanting to put yourself out there that much. I just don't want to.
Yes, and I don't either. And that's
So
the funny thing is like I put a lot of my own like face on things because I'm just that's what I have is me talking to people. But it took me a while to get over that hump of like I didn't want to do it. It just felt awkward. Like why is anyone look at my face? Everyone.
yeah,
It's just
I mean
and even now I refuse to do that on my video thumbnails other than for the live shows. Like it's not like
yeah, you do put your face on the thumbnail. Yeah.
yeah, but I don't do like the
We should.
oh my gosh,
By the way,
Bitcoin
I noticed that
crashes.
the picture you use of me is like from 3 years ago.
Well, I mean, you've been
It
doing
doesn't
this for
matter.
like 2 years,
doesn't-
right?
It doesn't matter. Huh?
I don't know. It's been a while. Not like a year
No,
and
it's
a half.
been a
Maybe.
while. It's been those glasses are
Well,
from pre-COVID. I don't have those glasses.
oh, but back when the times were more certain.
Something like that.
Yes. Well, when I finish the channel refresh, of which this whole like NFT exploration thing is like a linchpin of, well, I'll refresh the thumbnail game, including for the rundown,
Cool.
and you'll have an opportunity to take new ones.
Cute.
And going stuff like that, whatever annoying as possible. All right, well, we have a couple people watching, so it's probably a good time to launch into the show portion of the show instead of the crap portion or whatever. But anyway, let's go live. Well, hey everyone, and happy Friday. Hope you've had a fantastic week so far. Very productive and very, not despondent because of markets or whatever else. I'm joined by the wonderful and one and only Eléonore Blanc. How's it going?
Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm good. Very
Yeah, no
good.
problem. Yeah, how was your blockchain break? Or was it non-existent?
Isn't that? Should we like talk about not me being on a break first? No.
Yeah.
Yes, being on a break was lovely. Long overdue. Wonderful. Recommended to everyone.
Yeah,
it's
every 4
okay to
years.
step back.
It's good, like right as during like the market thing, and then just be like, oh, what's going on there?
It was actually funny. We were still with a lot of crypto people, so it was hard. You want to escape it. Sometimes you're like, let's just have a break. Let's not talk about crypto. But I'm also guilty of it. I'm all the way on the other side of the world, and I'm still like asking merchants if they will accept cryptocurrencies, right? So it's like I can't escape my own narrative. And then when we're with other people, it's somehow we go back to the topics we know and love.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just, it's kind of a part of us. I don't think there's two people there's a lot of different kinds of people in crypto, but let's just say there's two main people. One is the people who are degenerates. So the degenerate gambler people that just like, oh, give me more of that. Give me more of that, like, monkeypox Inu token. Remember that one? That was an actual thing. So
I was gonna say that's a nice made up one, but no.
No, it's true. It was monkeypox Inu coin, and the devs like rug pulled like 400 million or something like that. And
that's a lot, actually.
that's way too much. And people are like, "What's gonna happen? We bring him to justice." I'm like, did you realize what you bought? You bought monkeypox Inu. Like, you don't need to have money. I'm sorry. It's like you lost it. It's gone. Well.
So that's one type of person.
And then the other
degenerate
person
gamblers
is the person who just gets addicted to the tech and just addicted to what it represents, addicted to all the other stuff, and just can't set it down. It's just like all the time, It's just like, kid, do you want to buy some NFTs? Like, just always in people's faces.
I will never say that. You're on that train, I think, right now.
Yes.
I think you're on that train. I think you've drunk some of the NFT Kool-Aid. I'm still
Well,
I'm still
hopefully,
looking at the cool kids drinking it and waiting for the secondary effects.
yes. Well, I will definitely jump into that thing in a
Mm-hmm.
little bit because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of fun stuff going on. But in the
How have
meantime,
you been? How have you been? How have you been? It's been a long time since we
I've
caught up.
I've been well. Like
Yeah?
life is good. I live in the freest spot on the planet. That's good. Weather's nice. Got lots of friends. I'm living in a house now, not an apartment. That's nice. Um, I still get strangled on a weekly basis, and I do it voluntarily. So there's that.
Oh yeah. I was like, where's
Yeah.
he going with this?
Shout out. Oh, wrong side. Shout out to Granite State BJJ. Old logo though. But anyway,
Cool.
yeah, everything. I mean, things couldn't really be that much better, right? There's always a couple things that are like, well, I wish I had more money. I wish I had fewer things I needed to get done. I wish I was like 5 kilos lighter. I wish I was, there's just like a few things
Oh,
that just like, but then everything else is just great. I can't complain, you know?
oh, nice.
That's
Nice, nice,
good.
nice.
That's good. Well, before we jump into the stories and such, always remember cointr.ee/the desert lakes. Jump in the live super chat, throw some questions for Eleanor and myself, and now
No,
the
other
other way.
side.
The other way.
It's so confusing. I hate Jitsi.
Yes, the mirroring.
Ah, that way. That way.
Yes, there we go. Anyway, um, I will hopefully refine the user experience of this thing in just a little bit. Commander Skull Crush says, "Just go keto." I don't do well with
I
keto.
agree. I agree. I
I've
agree. Keto for the win.
listen.
Keto, abandon carbs. Carbs are evil.
I never did well on keto. I tried it before and I didn't lose weight. I gained weight, and
It's not about, I don't think, I mean, yes, maybe the weight thing is cool, but
yeah,
I just noticed like brain clarity or no like fogginess or no napping or feeling like I need to sleep every time I eat. Like it's terrible. It's
yeah.
terrible. Like all these these peaks of sugar, that's the evil part. I mean, it's
I must be
delicious, but it's evil.
I must be well adjusted to it because like my life didn't change at all when I changed diets. Other than the only difference was I noticed when I was doing intense exercise, not moderate. When I was doing intense exercise, if I didn't have any carbs, I felt like I hit a wall at some point. Like I just couldn't go further. I didn't have the available glycogen to, you know, do explosive athletic activity. But everything else, like if I ran slowly, I could do that no matter what I ate. But if I tried to like sprint and jump, then it hit the wall if I was doing keto. And so it ended up making me exercise less. And so like, I'll do it differently.
Yeah.
And then I lost a bunch of weight without keto. But I just
Fine.
need to lose more. It just I've been boozing too much.
Yeah, what's your I see your I think we both lurk on each other on our Instagrams. I see you
Yeah.
putting out pictures of putting pictures of drinks and stuff. Am I right to sour,
Yes.
right? What was the last one? No, you put other
Yeah.
things.
There was a few things. My kryptonite is bourbon in any bourbon based beverage.
Okay.
And good craft beer too. Although that makes me full in the stomach and fat quicker, so it's not as fun. But yeah, mostly those kinds of things. Good. Unfortunately, the downstairs of this house has a full like underground like bar and lounge area. It's just the way it came with the house. So it's like
Right.
so.
That's not why you chose the house, right?
I mean, it
That
was a
was
selling
not as
point.
haha.
It's for work because I'm gonna do like podcasts by the bar, like pub talk
Ooh,
podcasts
that's
and stuff.
fun. That's
Yes, and
fun.
you'll have to find a way to come to this forsaken country and
I have a better
partake in
pun
that.
for you than pub bar,
Yes,
crypto bar.
huh?
I mean, I've been using that hashtag for a while, but it's beer to beer,
Beer to beer, a beer to beer
right?
podcast.
Right.
Yes.
Don't you think that's cute?
Around
It's beer
proof of
to beer.
shots.
Proof of shots. Oh,
There's all kinds of really cringy stuff we could come up with there.
yes. But that sounds lovely, actually. An
Yeah.
in-person podcast. That'd be insane. I mean,
Yes.
the moment I'm in New Hampshire, I'll be knocking on your door and being creepy and being like, "Hey,
Yeah.
friend."
Don't worry. It's nice. It's right by the river too. It's like, well, I don't want to tell people where I live and stuff. But the point is having like a pub.
Somewhere in North America.
Yes, or it could be in South America. You don't know
Nah.
because it's flipped with Jitsi. It's upside down. So I mean, it's the other way. So it could be, I could be in the other spot. Well, anyway. So as I was saying, I think that there's been I'm gonna try to streamline the interactions, so you don't have to go to Cointree and pull up the invoice and all that stuff. You can just chat instantly. And so I'm working on a few different things like subscriber thingies and stuff. But let's get to this Ethereum thing because you threw it.
The only thing I have to say is that it's happening.
Yes.
I know that there's been I think everybody's been just fighting for so long, and I need to backtrack, and I need to start name dropping that I was just organizing Dev Connect and hanging out with the best. Dev Connect. It was so good. It was so good. Yeah. I'm rocking the hoodie right now and just whatever. So that happened. Also, if you're wondering what that is, do you see that? Do you see these amazing like ETH tulips going on behind me? That's Dev Connect decoration that they were like, either we throw it away or you pick it up and you bring it at your next meetups or something. What I want to say is that just by hanging out with all these people that have been working on the merge literally for years, it's really interesting to see obviously the personal perspective, and realizing that even these people were like, yeah, when we started doing this a couple of years ago, we thought it'd be a matter of months. We didn't think it'd be like this epic 50 stories 50 chapter long situation, but it is. But no, I'm really bullish for the Ethereum ecosystem. It's huge, and I don't know, it fills me with excitement, and it's happening. And the Ropstein merge happened, and we're just every day a bit closer.
So can you explain what this actually entails?
Basic. Everybody's been talking about lower fees, but I think we have to be really careful about that. It's not the case, right? Like, I know that everybody just wants that.
It sounds like a Bitcoiner trying to talk down SegWit. It's like, I know it's all about scaling and the fees, but we got to be realistic in what we expect here. I mean,
no, it's just,
I'm just giving you shit. It's okay.
No, but it's good. It's good. I think it's good shit. I think we have to talk about that, and I think we shouldn't give up on scaling L1, even though I think a lot of the Ethereum community is now saying, well, L2s, we have optimism, we have other things now that are doing it for us, so whatever. But no, we're just changing the consensus algorithm. That's the biggest thing. It's literally changing what the world is running on right now, or what DeFi is running on right now. So that's the biggest change, is changing the consensus algorithm. It will probably not have an effect directly on gas. I don't think so, on gas fees. But it's obviously all about, changing the consensus algorithm, removing the miners, removing all that energy consumption, and having a lower issuance and being more secure. That's in short. And I'm no dev, so I'm not going to try to pretend like I can explain everything that is happening. I'd be just what do I call that? Just repeating other people's opinions. But it's,
so the merge means, so it's finally like done, or does that mean there's no more mining anymore?
It looks like it.
But
soon.
I saw something about
soon. I don't know. Maybe we should put bets up together. We could use we should have a bet.
Well, that's the funny thing.
I mean, I think many people are having bets actually around this.
This is like obviously I have like a lot of like past trauma in this sort of area from like the Dash version of this, which is the evolution, which is like, oh yeah, it's just right around the corner, you get to do this, and then it's just like, oh yeah, it's on testnet, and then it's just like a year later, it's on testnet. It's like, well, wasn't the other one no, it's a different testnet, and it's like now it's like super close. Oh, just a matter of stuff. And
okay, Dash evolution is also on the snooze button for way too long. I saw a tweet flying around the other day where Dash Direct or went down or something. Is that something? It's okay. We
Well,
don't have to talk about it. That's more trauma.
well, let's finish the ETH thing and then we'll jump to that.
Okay. Yeah. The
Basically,
E thing, yay. They're working on it. It's happening. Follow Tim Becko. Follow all of those core devs that are working really hard, and just know that it's around the corner. And it's not a joke.
yeah.
It's not a joke. Yeah. It's not just like.
Yeah, so it's kind of done, but it's on testnet, and so if they don't find any bugs, then it'll all be done and
Yeah.
finished and merged
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, the goal for DevConnect was to get all these people in the same room, right?
Yes.
Okay, for those who don't know, DevConnect was 1 week in Amsterdam. I was very happy to organize Ethereum Day and DeFi Day, and it really brought into Amsterdam thousands of people that are involved in the Ethereum ecosystem, whether it's people working directly on Solidity, the language itself, to MEV, to DeFi and Ethereum core developers, the Ethereum Foundation, the DevCon team. There's an Ethereum ETH Amsterdam, so ETH Global hackathon as well going on with I think more than 160 projects submitted. I mean, it's just I don't know, it blew my mind. And I was part of the organization, so I knew it was coming, and I still was surprised. So.
Yeah. Well, that's good. It's finally coming to a close. There's so many. I'm trying to think about I hate to say it in these terms because it's a little bristle, but it's sort of like people. What I'm sure Bitcoin maximalists are feeling like finally using the Lightning Network for something, because it's the similar feeling of remember the 18 months meme? Oh, in 18 months it's gonna be ready, and that was years and years and years and years, and then finally people are using something, and then they're
no. But let's put it in context though, because the 18 months for the Lightning Network is optimism, being we're around the corner, but they're live and working right now, right? It's a layer 2. Let's not pretend this is we're reinventing sliced bread. Whereas changing consensus algorithm, when you have billions, I'm just thinking of volume of DeFi, just going on over you, and changing consensus algorithm. No one has done that, right? But adding a layer 2, that's not rocket science. They pretended like it was.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're not taking us to Mars. That Lightning Network is not going anywhere.
Just to the moon, right?
So, not even suborbital. Difficulties leaving atmosphere at this point. It's it's gonna, but.
Well,
me and my big blocker's heart, so.
Of course.
I'll always
now, which is kind of funny because, in a way, Ethereum has always been the anti-Bitcoin, sort of the other side of the coin, right? Just everything, complex instead of simple, scaling, instead of that, doing this instead of this, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of funny how somehow some of the directions ended up merging, pardon the pun, a little bit, because now remember when Bitcoin was the high-fee chain, and then Ethereum's look at me, I am the high-fee chain now. And then also remember what everyone was saying, L2 is the only way to scale Bitcoin, and now Ethereum is the dominant L2 platform. There's L2s everywhere.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Actually, when Vitalik put out that piece for not the case for Bitcoin maximalism or something like that, I was whoa, trigger alert.
The case for breaking Eleanor's heart. Right?
Oh, a little bit, and being wait, why are you saying that? And basically, sharding is years. Sharding might be on the roadmap for in 5 years or something. So they're really dropping on-chain scaling, it seems like. Depending on who you talk to, it's not the case. If you talk to different client implementation, they'll tell you we're the moment we do POS, and then once we're done with that, we actively scale on chain. But I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of everybody has to run their own node thingy, and I'm whoa.
Yeah, that's
wait. I've heard that before. So yeah, we both developed PTSD, I guess, in crypto after a while.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because one thing I've realized about crypto is there's so many different people with so many different attitudes towards everything. Yet when you're really trying to get things done and reality hits, the number of different paths and variables start to really slim down. And it starts to become like it's reality is a certain way. And so, like, for example, everyone seems to be doing some sort of a data L2, including like the Bitcoiners they were trying to do like lightning social stuff, but it wasn't really working. Now there's a whole bunch of built on Bitcoin DeFi things, protocols. They're separate chains,
It
but they
makes me
like
smile.
resolve. Yeah, and it's funny because it all comes back to the same thing, and then like the Bitcoin maximalists were the run your own node people, and then you have like the ETH people talking about that too, and it just like it's funny how it's like everything sort of comes back around. That's one reason I love keeping some BSVers in my life
Oh my
because
god.
they're the anti everything. They're just like I mean I hope I don't offend anyone by saying this, but they're like like the religious people that play with snakes and think if their faith is strong they won't get bitten, and they're like they're
Did you
just
use the snake? Did you use the snake analogy because BSV has a snake in their logo? Are you?
oh, it's a dragon. I didn't think of it as a snake. I
Oh,
thought you were
oopsie!
saying
I
like
forgot. No, you're right. It is a
Craig
dragon.
Wright's a snake, but yeah. But the thing is, it's like they don't believe in off chain. As far as I know, there's a surprisingly diverse ecosystem of people working on BSV still. I mean, it surprises me to this day, but they don't believe in on off chain anything. It's all on chain, movie files on chain, on chain transactions, gigablocks, everything on chain. No one should run a node. Go screw your mother, whatever. Like their whole attitude is just the opposite of everything else going on, and so it's kind of like you need everyone needs an enemy, right? Everyone needs a strong counterpoint. Everyone needs a what do they call it, a rival. And so having that out there kind of like challenging all your assumptions. Everyone needs a troll. I hate to say it, and then please don't
I
troll me
mean,
anymore.
I've been. I mean, sure. I also like. I think for us, like on the sort of more community side of things, we've been analyzing cryptocurrencies as tribes for a long time, and
Yeah.
I've been in this rabbit hole recently. Like I go through every 6 months or so, where I'm fascinated by like Mormons or ultra Orthodox Jewish people, and it's just like it's fascinating. And learning more about ultra Orthodox living in Israel, being against the state of Israel, and not wanting to do the army, and like they're actually a huge proportion of the population. Like there's like 8 million, and there's like 1.5 million of them, and they have like 7 to 8 children each because it's all about the family, whatever. So Israel is having like this inner community that's very extreme in their beliefs, and they force other commerce to shut down on Friday when it's Shabbat. I don't know. It's like all these things. Politically, they're super involved as well. They really make it or break it for politicians, so they have to make it up with this population. And I think in crypto, well, we have our own. I guess maybe BSV or whoever you want to put it out there can be really tribalistic. Justin put out recently a critique about Cardano, not even like going into the whole Charles is 30 and is actually looks like 60 thing. Like he actually like went
he's
really.
younger than
He actually
me.
it was a good critique just based on fundamentals and the tech. And oh my god, the mob! Like I've never
You know
seen
how
that.
I know? I retweeted Justin's thread on that.
Oh no,
And
don't.
all of a sudden I got the mob. I never got the mob before. Like
Oh
I talk shit about everything. I
yeah.
leveled some very reasonable critiques of part of Bitcoin Cash, even though I like it and I use it, whatever.
Yeah.
I definitely poke a lot of fun at Nano because, of course, I
They're still
talk
around?
some
Okay.
smack about BSV. I talk about everything, right? But then, like, as soon as I just retweeted, I said like, interesting. I don't know enough about Cardano that to know to know if this is all true or not, but this is an interesting read. I didn't even say I agreed with them. I just said I think this thread's an interesting read, and then just scammer, just and this dude, like, where'd you come from? Like, this is
It's
crazy.
insane. I did not expect it because I met like Cardano
Mm-hmm.
peeps in person, and they were fine. We were even joking about that, that they didn't have smart contracts, and it was all good when we were face to face.
Yeah.
Suddenly, like the Twitter mob Cardano community is off the rails,
The
and
proof of social
and
media.
and literally, you mentioned that you like hanging out with BSG people, and those I think were pretty extreme. When, well,
Mm-hmm.
did Craig Wright get deplatformed? I think so, no? Because I
Yes,
just
but
remember
then
him being like, "We're gonna kill your chain." Those were great tweets of his. Those were like,
yeah. Now
it's
it's just
hash wars, and that's all gone now. That was good fun.
yeah, it's good having that around, but like the point being about scaling and everything like that. Like I wonder what the world's going to look like. So, here's the
Hmm.
thing. Ethereum has taken forever to get to a spot where a lot of so-called Ethereum killers kind of jumped the gun and started at that spot, like starting point proof of stake, for example. And
Hmm.
what I wonder is, I wonder what the effect of the merge will be on ETH killers, or I would say competitors, because there is no ETH killers, but like
No, there's none.
competitors. But also, I wonder what that will have as an effect on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin will remain the last like large proof of work chain. Because now that if Ethereum goes, then most
It's
of the
gonna be
market will
great.
probably be something else.
No, I think we're gonna. I probably, and just assuming that
Mm-hmm.
mainstream media jumps on this whole like proof of stake is better energy wise narrative.
Mm-hmm.
All the hate for Bitcoin using proof of work is gonna get really directed to Bitcoiners.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then in the community, imagine if there's like a split. Look at me like
Imagine,
rubbing my hands.
imagine a Bitcoin split.
No, because there might be some pressure from within to change the consensus algorithm. I mean, even though those that are like super EBT maxi are like, no, 21 million and, the Satoshi gospel, but like, in a different way, 1 megabyte, everybody runs their own node thingy.
Mm-hmm.
We will never touch the inflation. It works. Let's keep it this way. And then, I don't know, maybe some part of the community in a couple of years might be like, well, actually, Ethereum's working. They were able to change the consensus algorithm. Why don't we do it too?
Yeah, I don't think that that's going to be the pressure that causes them to reevaluate. I think the pressure is going to be economic
Oh
because
yeah, because the
they
fees, because they're not, because it's now more profitable to run ETH than
well, it's
BTC.
because the fees on Bitcoin are not really going up. They're going down right now because people found a way to transact more efficiently by batching, by doing centralized services, by using Lightning, by doing a bunch of collection of things. And the halving keeps coming year after year. There's 21 million, and that's it. And you're having a diminishing amount of funds available to compensate for securing an increasing valued network. And so at some point, those things diverge enough and it becomes profitable to attack the network, to get at the money being transacted on it, and becomes relatively inexpensive to do so relative to the rest. And so, as I point out, and I had a fun time on Twitter sparring with a bunch of BTC people over this. Very respectfully, going back and forth, but it's like choose your path. Are you going to A, make the blocks bigger, B, have gargantuan fees, which will mean no one can use Lightning trustlessly. The only people using Lightning will be large corporations that will be able to do a channel
It's already the
factory.
case. It's already the case. I mean, and the
It's
fact that
getting
took me
that way.
online and the whole watchtower thing, like,
Or
hello, and
C, tail emission in infinite supply, like
oh
Monero's
my
did.
god, it's gonna be,
It's so
it's, it's. Did someone make a poll already? I mean, I'm not gonna try to play that game, but I feel like that's a good
mhm.
Twitter poll. Like, shall we increase the supply? Think if they make if they make the blocks bigger,
Yes.
that would be insane.
Well,
If
that's
they change the
honestly,
supply, I feel like that's gospel. They can't touch that.
yeah.
And the fees. The thing is that because because BTC because maxis were like desperate to have BTC to have DeFi on top of
Hmm.
Bitcoin, you have like these side chains that are anchoring themselves, like side chains that are having DPoS basically systems where they're trying to, and then you have like layer threes that are using the side chain that is anchoring on BTC. Like they're still trying to build vertically, even though they say that it's not needed, and when it's stuff being built on Ethereum, it's all crap. But the moment it's built on BTC, then yay. Those things still need to be anchored onto the main chain. And to open and close a lightning channel, you still need to use the main chain. So I love being part of this space. Why is this making me smile so much? It's just like there's so much stuff that's going to be... We're not done. We're not done this crypto banter, aren't we?
Well, yeah, but that's exactly the thing is my bet, and this is my bet on this thing, right? Because something's got to give economically. And it's funny how few Bitcoiners, or I wouldn't say Bitcoiner, that's a little bit aggressive to say, a few maxis. How few maxis have grasped that this is going to be a problem. Almost every single one has said, no, but that's in 100 years. That's a long ways away. And I always quote famous economist John Maynard Keynes say, in the long run, we're all dead. And they're anti-Keynesians. They're very Austrian economics based. And so it pisses them off to kind of do that. But at some point, here's my bet. I think that they'll go with option A and make the blocks modestly bigger. You know?
You think?
Yes. But here's the thing.
They can't. If they do that, they sort of acknowledge that BCH was the right way all along.
Not necessarily, because the BCH way is to make
They're going to go to 6 megabytes, not 8. They're going to be like, no, and definitely never 32.
Or just 4 megabytes or something. But like, I think that they said like recklessly. I think here's how I see the argument going, the rationalization, right? Which, first off, the idea would be to maintain the present day state of affairs, where you can transact on chain for like 50 cents to a couple dollars or whatever. Like, too expensive to buy your coffee with, but still it's not horrendous. And that's cheap enough to be able to open up lightning channels on your own with your own node to be able to route stuff that is cheaper. This state, they want to maintain it, but still scale it so the network works. And so as long as it's like small blocks, but not as small as it used to be, that's fine that way. And I think they'll say, well, with what is it, Moore's law about technology increasing over time exponentially, like hardware and things like that. I think that they'll say, even if we increase the block size to like 4 megabytes, you can still run your node at home, so it's fine. I think that they'll go that path, a very modest block size increase. I think so, yes, because it's the least disruptive of all the narratives. The block size war. Well, here's one reason I really think that. There's a lot of people, a lot of maximalists are talking about, Bitcoin is peer-to-peer electronic cash, and they're back on the you need to spend it train. And there's a new generation of Bitcoiners who don't remember the block size wars, who only remember coming into it recently and hearing Lightning is how you use small transactions, and they're basically Bitcoin Cash style people, except on the BTC chain, because they're new. They don't remember the history. And so I already see how the narrative is flipped. And some of the same people saying, why would you ever spend it, are now saying you should spend it. And it's like, okay, I see how it can change. That can change pretty easily.
That's all right, so let's go into the history. But I think people that are listening to your podcast are probably people who know what we're talking about. Like, it's boring for them. But it's interesting that you're mentioning new people coming into BTC, because that makes sense to me. Because I was also a post block size war person. Like, I got into it in October 2017. Hard fork had happened a couple of months before. So yeah, it happened later for me. But it made sense. So I can imagine that for new people.
Yeah. And like, for example, I can't remember if it was last week or the one. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I had Esteban on, who he's relatively new, but he's already closed his bank and is living unbanked off of Bitcoin and paying his employees and stuff like that. So like, but relatively new to the scene. And so, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of like, no one even cares about the block size wars anymore. That's ancient history. What is today is today.
So you're saying that there's a chance for Bitcoin Cash to have a revival, maybe? Because that would be interesting.
I mean, honestly, I think it,
Bitcoin Cash is still there, still building, still has a community, still has usage. I
yeah,
mean,
a
Smart
rebrand
BCH
might be
is a
nice.
non-native Smart BCH, smart contract
Hmm.
layer, but BCH could have a comeback.
Could. Well, speaking of old dog learning new tricks, um, MimbleWimble adds new features for Litecoin, but some exchanges balk. Litecoin may have recently activated its long-awaited privacy-based upgrade, but now without creating some regulatory and compliance issues. So Litecoin finally did MimbleWimble, which I'm not a huge fan of, but whatever. We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say the
this,
tech of MimbleWimble kind of sucks. I remember from Grin and stuff, isn't it? Yeah,
yes, Grid
it's
and
not
Beam.
good. Yeah, Grin
Um,
and Beam proved us that MimbleWimble thing doesn't really work at
yeah,
scale, or at not scale, I should say.
so basically, on June 8th, a
Mm.
bit alongside four other leading crypto exchanges in South Korea removed their support for Litecoin. The other
Lol.
exchanges, including BitHump, CoinOne, Corbit, and GoPax. So the Koreans in particular don't like anything that touches privacy. Isn't but here's the thing. My understanding is the MimbleWimble thing is a side chain to Litecoin. It's not part of like the base
Uh,
protocol. Like it's compliant, it's compatible with it, but it's not. It's kind of like a coin join, it's like a thing you can do with it, but it's not. They could just disable MimbleWimble, like
I feel like it's an
it.
overreaction.
Of
Anyways, you've
course,
KY if it's these are centralized exchanges, they've obviously KYC'd everybody that comes in and out. Like they're safe, right? Like it's
yeah.
their I think, I don't know.
It's kind of funny because MimbleWimble, in from my understanding of it, it works similar to a coin join where you mix all bunch of stuff, but it's much harder to correlate amounts and things because it's all done at the same time. So basically, a more effective, it's a more efficient, sort of better coin join in a way, except you have to be online at the time of doing it, and there's some other little timing attacks and things you can do. It just
Uh, there's also the
yeah
fact that it has to have significant volume for you to actually not be traced.
yeah.
Like it yeah.
It was a
I don't know.
very fascinating experiment, and I'm glad they made it. I just don't think it's kind of retro, It's like,
Can't
oh,
we
look
like
at.
learn? I feel like we're kind of this is kind of on point for this
Hmm.
conversation today, where we're just being like these like really like lamos. I mean, we keep back to being boomers, you and I. I'm
Hmm.
even more than you because last time I was on your show, I'm still an NFT boomer. But in terms of cryptocurrencies, like we learn from past experiences, we learn from different models, algorithmic stable coins, cough, cough, delegated proof of stake, cough, cough, MimbleWimble, cough, cough. Like it's like there's a history here. And anything you do today, you are, if this is a peer-to-peer peer-to-peer industry, we peer review each other, we should be able to like learn from past blockchains and past projects and not repeat. I don't know.
Yeah,
But MimbleWimble sounds good, right? And the whole.
yeah. I mean,
And I'm
whatever.
actually surprised that Litecoin is actually just innovating. I mean, sorry, I just thought that
Well,
was like one of those chains that no one was developing on anymore or
I
trying.
guess we should say adopting rather than innovating, right? Because they didn't make MimbleWimble, they just added it.
No,
It's
no,
kind
no.
of
I
like,
know. Well, Litecoin was never the place to like innovate. But I'm just surprised that anyone actually cares right now about Litecoin to actually try to improve the code or anything. It's good. Go them. Like
yeah.
that's a
It's
good
funny.
thing. I'll give thumbs up on like dev activity on any chain. Like I'm
I'm
just,
pretty sure it was one developer that did it who just got
oh.
in and bless his heart, he worked hard
Well, you
over
know what?
years.
It shows that there's zero governance and that anyone that shows up at Litecoin can do it. Go
Hmm.
him.
Yeah.
Go
So,
him.
but this is an interesting experiment though, because first off, it'll get to see what the market prices for privacy. It'll get to see what the trade off is. Is it worth it for the increased regulatory issues that you run into as a result? So, for example, on the one side of things, You have, let's just say something like Bitcoin. It's on every exchange, everything works, it's just fine, it's doing well. And then you have some like a bunch of delisted coins, which is like death for smaller projects. But then you have something like Monero, which has done very well recently, all things considered, mostly despite being delisted from everything, or not everything, but a lot of things, and or just not listed, I should say. And I think it had a lot to do with the whole Canadian trucker blockade, and then people started to donate Bitcoin to protesters, and then the government found a way to trace the Bitcoin and like confiscate some of it, and then people got freaked out, and so then
Damn it, Canada. It's really
yeah,
sad.
well that's an evergreen statement. You could just keep saying, like, just replay it every single podcast. God damn it, Canada, and it's always
No,
going to
but
be applicable.
no, but before that, before this whole trucker thing, like New Hampshire, cool, Austin, cool, Canada, cool, and then this happened, and it's like, what the fuck? That
Yeah.
went south really bad and really fast, and I feel like there's no, like, okay, I don't follow Canada or Canadian news or protests or policymakers or
Really? How brave of you.
I can't follow everything, but what I just want to say is that I feel like there hasn't been any consequences to any of that aggression from the state. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't just followed, like, if there's been any efforts from civilians to actually, like, you know counter protest whatever happened there. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
been
know.
protests and stuff, but it's not. They're still getting away with their stuff, being worse and worse. But
Yeah, that's
I
what I
guess
mean. They're gonna get away with it. That horrifies me.
the point is the market seems to have rewarded Monero for things like that,
Interesting.
and
Even though Monero's not that. I mean, we all know that none of these are really private.
yeah, I mean, Monero's pretty good. It's solid, but like as far as like the top level, like I know too much, but there's at least trying. And um, the one thing that makes it very like you can have a very private Bitcoin or a few other experience if you know what you're doing and you're very careful. The problem is no one, no user knows what they're doing and is very careful. And the thing about Monero that I think is the thing they figured out correctly is to bake in the special features so that users have no choice but to do all these things in order to transact, which has made it a big pain in the ass to use in the past. But now it means that if you just use it, it's like the basic features on. And like I know a lot of people who are using Zcash that thought that they didn't realize they're sending transparent transactions. And it's just like, what you mean? You think you just buy it? Like you didn't look into what you bought enough to just figure this stuff out, which I think is one reason why their Zcash is trying to become private by default, but optional transparent.
It's I don't know. I think this comment is going to be just very random, but I feel like it's every cryptocurrency is going to have its unique selling point and is going to have its own type of adopters and way of use. And, BC peeps are doing it on the Lightning. Monero, Zcash, are more on the privacy side. I mean, Dash got delisted as well in the past for being considered too private, and it's not. So I
Yeah,
think exchanges just don't really know what they're doing, I think, at some points. Going back to the South Korean exchange delisting Litecoin,
yeah,
it's
they don't know what
fine.
they're doing.
No.
And honestly, though, I don't know if you remember the whole AOPP thing with the wallet protocol to make it easier to KYC your non-custodial wallet. I don't know if you remember that whole thing. There was a protocol that Trezor and a few other big wallets like Edge, I think, activated. I don't think Edge ever activated; just signed on in agreement. It's just basically a way for your wallet to to easily sign a transaction saying, or easily make a signature saying, "This is me with my KYC identity owns this wallet." So that because some exchanges were making you do that in order to withdraw, and a lot of people freaked out, and then they got rid of that, and no one uses it now. But
No, I don't remember.
anyway, it's the exchange world, the centralized exchange world it's like using fiat. It is. It's
It is.
it's the worst part. It's not really crypto. It's like the worst part of everything. So I'm not
Yeah.
overly concerned with that, especially since people are starting
No.
to get paid in
No.
crypto.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is
Mhm.
like, but that's, how can I say? Coming out of Money 2020, right? I was just
Mhm.
emceeing these last 3 days and being in a very, very fiat conference with JP Morgan and HSBC and like all the bad guys,
All
really,
your
and bad
buddies.
women. Like, it's really, and it was really interesting because being an MC, I'm not a
Mhm.
speaker. I'm just the little crypto jester that comes between all these talks and is like trying to recap and trying to sort of say something nice and be the hype woman on stage. It
Hey,
did make
Tether.
it
We all
did
like that, right, guys? Hey, give a round of applause for Tether. Woo. Like, whew.
Ripple had a booth. Oh my
Oh
god.
no. And
Um,
you could just say, and here we have over there, it's a scam. I mean, the Ripple. You
no, no,
couldn't
no. But
like.
so they're talking about, like, for example, they're talking about, let's just
Mhm.
say they're talking about self-sovereign identities, and then none of them are actually doing self-sovereign identities. They're all custodians. So then I had to bring up the fact that if in all of this you would force me to KYC, well, guess what?
Mhm.
One, I won't use your project. Two, you can have different IDs, different wallets. It doesn't prevent anyone to have like different
Mhm.
identifiers. When we're talking about regulations, oh my god, they kept bringing back UST Luna thing to justify regulating everything and
Disgusting.
everyone, and that we need to protect everyone, and the users aren't well informed, so now MetaMask has to, like, do better. And it's like, I don't know. I think for a long time this whole world thought that crypto was really going to go away, and just saying that it was only for criminals that it would work.
Mhm.
um and I think now they're all FOMOing that they're not offering crypto services because they realize that all that volume is going to other players that is not under their control. So they want to take the control back. So they want to offer crypto again. But then once they offer crypto, they're actually offering a perverted version of crypto, which is KYC, custodian, and permissioned. And
Yeah.
I think users, by the time that they implement these solutions, users will have figured out that that's not the way. That's my take. But fascinating to be there and see these conversations, and of course have a more critical angle to it, and also be surprised with how much crypto they want to talk about. Right? It's definitely not just for gangsters anymore and criminals. It's definitely something that they're
Yeah.
interested in and that they wish they had a slice of. The question is, I think the users would just vote with their feet and figure it out. But
Yeah. Well, that's the
I might be
thing.
wrong.
I am interested. Like, I have my doubts about some things and opinions about others, but I got it as far as like I heard about Bitcoin. I think it might have been 2011 or 2012 because I kind of might have heard of it but didn't really pay attention. I just remember I have tweets like I thought that when I first got Bitcoin September or so of 2013, I thought that was when I started. But then someone uncovered tweets of mine from like January of that year, writing articles about why Bitcoin's important and stuff. And so before I had any, I was like, I knew about it, but it was when I started using it for the first time in like September, October of 2013, I got it. Like I understood right away, this is huge, this is everything.
Mm.
And since like I always thought it was huge because I understood that like people controlled money or sound scarce money that's it's not government money is very important. I always understood that, but when I started just using it, I was like, I get it. Since then, all I care about is pushing this forward. More of it. More of it. Everyone uses it. And so even though I have my specific things, preferences and all this kind of stuff, I think
Mm.
that at some point we're at the point where everyone should use crypto of some kind as soon as they can because if everyone's using it, they can't really stop it. And I think that I mean one of the bigger, I would say it's a seeing where the space is today. I don't have this as a regret, but a few years ago I did kind of have a regret that Bitcoin scaling stalled out because otherwise I was like that's our hope to like get it in there before everyone else does. And the way I saw the free market flow around Bitcoin and just keep going despite it has been very encouraging. And
Yeah,
and so
totally.
I think we're fine. But I'm just
No,
so I'm
we're fine.
saying
We're fine.
By the time
We're
they figure out how
fine.
to regulate all this stuff,
Yeah.
everyone's going to be using it. No one's going to care.
Yeah. So everybody's being a bit slow. Crypto slide is a bit slow. We're still trying to figure out the whole, blockchain trilemma. We're working on it.
Did
We're
you just do
still
like
trying
the
to find.
Beyonce
Yeah,
Illuminati symbol
I
live
did.
on air?
Which stands for decentralization, scalability, and security. You're welcome. I've just re-explained the Illuminati
Yes.
sign for everyone.
I'm going to get you an Illuminati
So we figure that
NFT.
out. We work on that part. They figure out on how to play on, catch me if you can thing. And in between, you and I continue chatting online.
Yeah, of course.
About these things, and when we continue relentlessly to onboard merchants and people, and talk about it. Talk
Well,
about the beauty of permissionless
in
peer-to-peer
case
electronic cash.
in case it wasn't obvious enough that the world is never going to be the same, this next thing. Anonymous hacker served with restraining order via NFT. International law firm Holland & Knight served a defendant in a hacking case with an NFT that was created and airdropped by its asset recovery team. Law firms Holland & Knight and Bluestone have served a defendant in a hacking case with a temporary restraining order through a non-fungible token, marking the first known legal process to be facilitated by an NFT. This so-called service token, or service NFT, was served to an unnamed defendant in a hacking case involving LCX, a Liechtenstein-based cryptocurrency exchange that was hacked in January for almost $8 million. So basically what happened. So this is like where you go, like what a crazy world it is. So like if someone steals money from a bank, they find out who that individual is, and they find out where they live or an address, and they serve them with like a paper like warrant or restraining order or whatever like that. That's the old thing. But in this case, when just like a long hash of like bullshit numbers just takes all your money, like what is that person? How do you legally come after them? And so they literally, like, all they know is this is where the money is right now. And so they know that they don't have no idea who did it, but they know that person is in legal trouble. So the only way to do it is they mint an NFT and just send it to that address. And now he has the legal summons in his like possession. And it's like, first off, wow, that's pretty innovative. It's in 10 years, no one's going to blink an eye at this kind of stuff, but it's kind of innovative. It kind of shows how the market is adapted to this new situation of anonymous or pseudonymous legality, I guess.
It's not innovative. It's creative at best, and a bit silly, and it goes to the news because there's the word NFT in the situation. So yay. But that address is already just blacklisted. You don't need the NFT. It's not that insane. Like the NFTs are always that extra step of useless more data, or just doing another hash when you don't need another hash. Like, don't mint stuff. Just buy the art with crypto. Done. There's your hash forever that proves that you have it. Not everything needs to be non-transfer. Who cares about being non-transferable? I don't know. I don't get it. I'm still on the fence, but I'm going to a very interesting conference next week. I'm going to Met Amps in Amsterdam, and it's actually a 4-day festival around NFTs. And I'm going, and I want to keep an open mind. Change my mind. Please change my mind, because right now it's just ridiculous.
Well,
but
that's the thing.
Yay to the law enforcement to try to do that. But just blacklisting the address was enough. I think.
I mean, you could blacklist the address, but to communicate to them like illegal summons,
they don't care. They don't. I mean,
they don't. But now
it's desperate. It's like it's just trying to make the news.
So
it's not.
Well, when you, for example, if you do legal summons on, you visit the person's house, have someone knock the door and be like, you've been summoned. And what they do a lot of times, if they know there's like a summons out from, they'll hide, and so they will never be there when the guy shows up to like knock on the door. And after they try a few different, because you have to actually serve the person. And after a few tries, then they have to like staple it to the front door once they've taken pictures confirming the person's there. So this all exists in the real world. And so imagine trying it. So because there's always the plausible deniability of like, well, I didn't know I was supposed to show up in court. I never contacted me. And it's just like, but now we sent the summons to the one place we know exists,
So now that
which is the metaverse.
But now this person to prove, this is going a bit crazy, but like if he wants to, he just has to never sign or move. I mean, if he wants to move those funds, he'll find a way. I'm sure he'll.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll tumble them through whatever coin mixer out there, and then they'll be, and it comes out clean, and that that address will just like hold the NFT forever.
Yes, except it is a fun catch-22 though, because they're trying to establish. I think they're trying to establish some kind of like I guess like a legal injunction against this person, because what happens if they send? I
think he should send them right. I think what he should do is just send the NFT right back from the sender.
Well, what? So the baller move would be to list the NFT on OpenSea and try to sell it and like try to make some money off of it. That would be great. That would be really great. But
no, send it back. You should just send it back.
The point being, this person
don't sell it.
They got the legal document at the address, and the only way to have plausible deniability is to just never touch the address ever again. Because as soon as you access the wallet to send the money out of it, you have to see that you got an NFT, and you got to look at it, and it says
you don't have to.
You don't have to.
You could always argue. He could always argue that the NFT's metadata or whatever picture that it's going back to has been tampered with, and that it was before it used to be something else or something.
Yes, as always, the devil's in the details. I'm sure there will be lawyers arguing these kinds of cases forever. But the fact is, like, now it creates crazy uncharted territory.
So I think they're just trying to talk to the hacker. I think they're trying to say something like, we're with you, man. Like we want to talk your language. Please send back the funds. Please send back the funds. And he's gonna look at the NFT and have a good laugh, and still go through a coin mixer.
Well, that reminds me of I gotta find the tweet by Naomi, but she said, crypto Twitter, what's the easiest way to send a message to someone's Ethereum address? I must admit I've never done it before. Are there any tools that make this easy? And people are saying all kinds of different things, but it doesn't sound like there's any real answers here. Of course, I chimed in and just said, mint an NFT of your message played over an EDM song and send it to their address. And she said, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the easiest way, to be honest. So, but what I'm saying is, like, I'm sure, like, the blockchain world is so, like, siloed off. So, like, for example, if you send an address to someone or send something, like, you have this kind of communication. At some point, what happens if, like, you lose physical contact with the person involved with the transaction? You don't know who it is. Like, so for example, someone sends you some Ethereum as a donation, and you're like, this is too much, I can't accept this. You can always send it back, but you could also like just say someone sent it but didn't say what it was for. You could always mint a little like NFT message or whatever and send it back to them. They're like, oh, I got an NFT, and it kind of starts to create some more. I don't think you need to mint the NFT. Just do the Cointree thing and then put a message in it. Done. Yeah, but Cointree's not on chain. That's the problem.
Oh my god, the message about. Of course you don't. Yeah, but it depends on what type of message, right? Depend on the message that you want to send.
Yeah, I mean,
they could have sent a Cointree message instead of the NFT.
Yeah, if you have a Cointree. Yes, if they had a Cointree. But that's the thing is, like, ultimately, I think that there's, if you think about like the way decentralized tech and blockchain stuff works, the way it's worked from like our experiences in transacting, it's like this amount from this address to this address is like the only communication we have. And everything around that, there's like a lot of stuff around that, like, well, here's my wallet. You see my wallet? Or you're communicating on other platforms. Bit by bit, all this decentralized money is going to start to have like take shape more than just like a raw little like hash of code. Like it's going to start to take shape where you're going to have like a digital user, like a public facing human readable username behind it, which a lot of chains do. Well, they will eventually, and you can kind of, and then you'll be able to attach something like a picture to that if you want. And
you don't want to. Why would you want that?
Well,
I get where
to make it
I get
easier
where
to
ENS
interact
is.
with.
I know where ENS is going, and I know that a lot of people just want their handle and all of. But I really don't want that. I love having different addresses. I love having Edge Wallet creating a public address every time I transact. I don't want the whole world to know what I'm doing.
Well, exactly.
I don't want the world to know what I'm holding. I don't hold NFTs. I don't want people to know the assets that I have.
But that's the next
But that's
step.
me. That's just me, right? And I guess that some people will want to be like, "Oh, look at what I have. Look at what." No. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Well,
I'm
that's
not
the
like
next step, though, is to have all that experience to where you have your whole blockchain identity and life all connected.
Sounds
but to
horrible.
where some of it can be, where most, or if not all of it, is hidden from the public and only revealed through zero knowledge proofs, for example, to select people. And that's the ultimate thing of where, and that like everything that you have in your real electronic life becomes immutable and under your direct possession, but still has the privacy you have from like your email is your own.
Yeah, we're not there yet. There's nothing that offers that right now.
And so we're piecing it together, though. I mean, to be fair, with crypto taking over the world as money, we're still not there yet, and we haven't been the entire time you and I have been involved. We just haven't been there. But we're here because I want to be there.
I mean, it works. Hey, it works. It's just we're not there in terms of mass adoption. But the tech works. Whereas what we're describing right now, so peer-to-peer electronic cash works, DeFi works, lending borrowing protocol works, decentralized stable coins works, like futures derivative, like
hopefully.
Okay, let's die maker like that freakishly works.
Too soon.
No, there's a lot of things that work already. But what we're describing right now of self-sovereign identity and being able to disclose at will what we want and using zero knowledge proof in an all easy way, no, we haven't seen.
We're very close though, because that's the thing is like, you know me, I'm at the edges of this trying to use it before it's like ready, and so yeah, it's all coming like sooner, and that's kind of the thing about like, for example, if you watch any of Naomi Brockwell's content, which you should, just talk about like live in a modern and privacy conscious lifestyle. And if you just watch that stuff, like it's just like,
she's awesome.
First off, every single one of her videos is, did you know that your phone is spying on you? Every single one is that. But it's like, okay, install Signal, use a VPN, don't do this, password security. It's like one step at a time. You're clawing back your digital identity into a private way, from the surveillance state into your private life. And crypto's the same way. You're clawing every single bit you can away from, everything else, even when it's not usable or it's not super easy to use today. A lot of it is like you do a clunky thing out of the principle of it. And as long as you're having fun doing it, it's like, it's worth it. At least to me, it's worth it,
I like your enthusiasm.
Were you so jaded over there? Is this what the DevCon type stuff does to you?
No, but trying to install a wallet that's asking me for money to open a new wallet does make me want to scream a little bit.
Yes, Anchor Mobile. I've never tried that before, and
shame on them.
Yeah,
shame on them.
But let me hit this one here, right? Despite what you've heard, NFT market is far from dead, according to dAppRadar. There's no question that blue chip NFT collections such as Bored Ape Yacht Club have declined in value recently, but the market for digital collectibles is much bigger. NFT sales volumes came in at a healthy 3.7 billion in May, according to dAppRadar's latest industry report, which was released on Wednesday. While they were down 20% compared to April, the industry activity remains robust, considering that crypto assets as a whole are in a bear market. So, yeah. In the meantime, Solana NFTs
No, no, no,
posted their
no. How dare you mention that
well,
non-blockchain on your own channel?
it's in. I'm quoting from the Gospel of Cointelegraph here.
Propaganda.
Meanwhile, Solana has posted their best trading month, generating a 335 million volume across all their marketplaces. So, first off, I
Yes.
like to see clearly it's a so there's so many different directions to go. Let me start. Let me pick one and start with it. First off, is anyone surprised that the stupid monkeys didn't end up being worth anything? I mean, some of them are, but I did you notice I never changed my profile picture to be one of those weird little pixelated dudes or like a monkey or anything. I never.
I mean,
never.
Joel, you've drunk the NFT Kool-Aid. I would forgive
Not that
you.
much. Not that much. I'm still sober enough to drive home, if you know what I mean. So, well, so first off, the monkeys were never going to be worth anything, right?
Why not?
Well,
why not?
Because
NFTs have as much value as people see value in them. Could be a monkey, could be a cat. I don't care.
And they saw value in the.
So what has so much more value than the monkey?
So
nothing.
You got to start listening to some of these interviews I've been having on the channel here, because I've interviewed quite a few NFT creators and stuff. But for example, it seems like the one big area where it's booming is in games, because the ability to, because all these in-game NFTs that are basically like in-game skins and things people have used forever, like skins and upgrades and accounts and stuff. They were just clunky to trade otherwise, and when you did, it was on a centralized marketplace that you
also I still think that's kind of lame. If you're gonna get an asset, you should work for it and you should game for it. It's super lame to just buy something that you should take 50 hours to go through in a game, but that's a separate topic.
But on the other hand, what happens if you do work for it and then you want to sell it and increase someone else's user experience? This is something that I never got in. I stopped gaming probably, or for the most part, I stopped in 2005 or so when I got a girlfriend, and then there you go. But some people
game together. You guys should game together. We just started. No, I think we're playing gaming Valheim right now. It's really fun. Well, just start making. I'm a free market person, so yay to anybody who wants to buy and sell stuff. And I know where you're going with your in-game asset stuff, because I think you want to talk about a certain blockchain that's targeting, these 400 million gamers, and is trying to, solve the 50 billion virtual items $50 billion being sold every year, right? Is that where you're going?
Yeah, Tron. I want to tell you about Tron.
Wax?
No, I'm just kidding.
Wax?
Well, that's the wrap up of this thing. But the thing is, bit by bit, people are starting to find uses for these kinds of digital tokens, unique digital tokens, just like non-unique digital tokens. And it's the thing that I keep telling people is NFTs are about to become extremely boring. They were super sexy. Ooh, I got my cool chimp that tells me I'm somebody, and
a bored ape, you mean?
Bored. Is quite the prophecy there, but they're going to become super boring in that people already have digital tokens for things like login tokens or digital concert tickets, or there's already all that kind of stuff, and they will just start migrating over into non-fungible tokens, and no one's really going to notice because it'll just become boring. And the boring things are the most exciting things. I mean, how efficient payment rails, is that something that you can you go and get a bunch of girls interested in you at the bar talking about? I mean, only if they think
that's what interests me. Excuse me. Yes, you come to me at the bar, you talk to me about that, I'm like, what?
Yes, but you're one in a million, just like
transactions.
Us. Yes, but you're 1 in 21 million, just like me. So,
no. There's others like us. They just don't know. We still need to make them force feed them the Kool-Aid.
Yes.
You know what? To go back on the NFT thing, there is utility probably in ticketing. that's not too bad. I actually did use certain tickets for
Mm-hmm.
my events. I also like stuff that says that you were there at some point, or you saw something, or you met
Yeah.
someone.
There we
And you
go.
can say, oh, I met that person, and now I have an NFT that proves that I met that person in person. Like, that's kind of cute. You're rubbing your hands right now.
Yeah.
What? Because I'm considering making, because at Dev Connect, that was the whole hype, is that people were walking around and like, now you can have an NFT. I mean, get the POAP that shows that you met me in person, right? And I almost did it for Money 2020, and then I was just too lazy and I didn't get to it. But that would have blown those very fiat minds away, because you're giving like business cards, but now it's like, no, I'm not gonna give you my paper business card. Like, here's an NFT of me proving that you've met me in person. Like, that would have been like,
You know what's funny about that?
I,
Speaking of
I could
business
still do
cards,
it. I could still do
um,
it. I could still do it retroactively. Actually, I could email all the business card people that I received their unique POAP link and be
mhm.
like, "You're welcome. You've met me in
Well,
person."
well, you can. And you know what's funny? Just today, I was
Mm.
interacting with a business card smart contract, and I burned it because I was just to test it, but I minted an NFT of like a business card thing that includes mutable data that I can through this contract update my business card thing virtually. So I could transfer or sell an NFT. If it's a business card, send you an NFT of my business card, and now you have it. Now it's your NFT collection is your contact list, and these are all the people you got. And you own like a digital thing that says like I've got it at this time, so you know exactly when you had all that stuff. But if they change their address or email, what they can do is they can just update their contract, and that part of the NFT, even though you hold it, changes. Just the
Mm.
mutable data then changes and
Yeah,
updates their
you
stuff.
could. I'm pretty sure on POAP, if you make sure that your POAP never expires, or like your editing process never expires, you can.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you. Actually, I'm not sure. I think you can. I'm not sure if you can change the art. You can change the
Mm-hmm.
information in it. You can mint more links, like,
More
yeah,
desert
but
links. Yeah.
more links. But
Yes.
and you can change the metadata, like the text surrounding it or something like that. But the art piece would stay the same. Do you think it's too
Yeah.
cringy to do that? Do you think I should do that? Do you think I should actually make a POAP of my face and like be like,
Yeah.
"You met me"?
So, well, this is like honestly, this is the we're in the playground phase right now, right?
Fine, so
And
I could play around with it.
well, the thing is, this is my entire MO. This is exactly what I've been doing is I got it that crypto is everything and it's the way of the
Mm-hmm.
future and it's how we as a human race like
Mm-hmm.
escape the shackles of whatever. So, the shackles of whatever. Yeah, don't put that on an NFT. Wait for me to come up with a better quote. But I figured out, and then at that point, I was just like, I'm gonna do the thing as much as I can. I'm just gonna jump into the proverbial ball pit and play around from now on. Then, it's so at some point the amount of stuff I was hearing from the NFT space started to be turn my skepticism away a little bit. Be like, there must be something to this, and then I talked to enough people excited about it, trying to use it, doing all these different things. And I'm not like, I started to realize, oh, it's another part of the big crypto vision that I got on
It
board
is.
in. And so then the next logical step after that for me isn't just to go shilling it on a bunch of podcasts and stuff. The next logical step is, well, let me see. Let me try to do stuff with it, you know? It's just like, can you imagine if someone said, "Oh, you know what? These craft cocktails are the best. Oh, they're just the best," and they just talk about the virtues of this and that, and then the fresh squeezed orange juice in the shaker with the amaretto, and then the other tequila and all that together, and then here you go, and you smoke like they just talk to you and like, oh, that sounds great. Can you imagine becoming a craft cocktail shill and then you never have one? Like the point is like if someone's telling you something's awesome, don't you want to touch the thing and like get one of your own and see if it's true? Nah, it's not for me. Or be like, oh, this is awesome, I'm going to use these all the time. So that's kind of my
I
perspective.
mean,
And
people that are using crack cocaine are pretty sure that's awesome.
yeah, but no one's advocating for crack cocaine but not using it. You know, no one's like, you know what, dude, Coke is the best. I've never used it, but it's great. You know.
No, but therefore, this is
Mm-hmm.
why I do put there is a difference between cryptocurrencies
Mm-hmm.
and NFTs. They're just a different beast.
Yes, and in my opinion, NFTs are a much shallower incursion into the power of the state, whereas cryptocurrency as like a base monetary system and a digital cash
I
payments
feel
network
like
strikes all the way to the heart of the beast. But
I don't
NFTs
know.
take a piece away from the outside,
No, but
not
look, like
all the way
since we've been in crypto,
in.
I mean, you've been there longer than I. But don't you
Hmm.
feel like we keep being thrown at things that then we get distracted by? Like I got in, I got the whole peer-to-peer electronic cash thing. No one's really
Hmm.
interested in it. Then everybody's like, no, forget that. Blockchain use cases. We need to solve hunger. We need to solve, supply chains. We need to solve a bunch of things before we even use it for crypto.
Hmm.
Then there was the whole STO, IDO hype, all of that. Then all the ICO utility token. It's like, guys, like
Hmm.
let's go back to the thing that no, DLTs. Like, I don't know. I feel like we threw in so much, and now I feel like NFTs another. Okay, some people could argue like huge Trojan horse, amazing. It's great for Ethereum, which is the mainly used blockchain for it. Um, but I also feel like it's a distraction. I also feel
Um,
like it's not. It's yes, it's great. It's making people aware of wallets. It's making them used to like send, receive, all that good stuff. But it's like it's still not. We're right there, but also like on a completely separate boat. It's like
yeah.
we're
So on
close, but
two
it's
different,
not it.
let me hit that from two different levels. On the one hand, yeah, I think if you're using it as an excuse to not get into using crypto as money, I think it's kind of bullshit, right? I don't think you should be like getting into crypto like, oh, I'm going to start like get into digital money and then never get around to fully using it and then just going straight to NFTs from there. I think that's kind of a missed opportunity. Like we should stop there. At the same time, like I'm, it's been a tough pill to swallow, but over the years I've realized that solving money in crypto is with crypto, I should say, is technically one of the easiest. I would say easiest, but um, the simplest things to technologically solve. Although
Yeah,
there's a
that's what I
like,
said. We've solved it. We just have to
yeah,
now use it. And
the
I
the
know that sounds to
problem,
you must be like, duh.
yes, the problem is at the other end of the spectrum. Um, Getting from creating digital money to everyone using that is the hardest thing to do. It's like
Yeah.
I think that people living unbanked off crypto is I think that's the last thing that they're going to be doing. I think that they're going to be doing all kinds of other things to decentralize their lives first before they end up at that final stage. And again, you know how much it pains me to say this, right? Because you know my MO, you know what I do.
No, you see, I'm
But
still on the old Joel narrative thing.
mm-hmm.
I'm still on, slowly, bit by bit. We do everything that Naomi says. We learn how to slowly claw back at our privacy and
Telegram
slowly,
is
slowly,
spying on you.
but yeah, like talk about those things and
Yeah.
slowly claw back our financial freedom. And I'm not saying like from one day to the next, just drop all your bank accounts and go anon and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just saying slowly integrate it in your life. You don't have to do everything with fiat, such as you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
do everything with crypto, but there's a healthy middle.
Yeah.
There's a convenient way. There's a step-by-step way. You have to learn. Don't start with everything. Don't put like with crypto and portfolios and investment, don't put all your eggs in the same basket. And same goes for switching and learning about how to use cryptocurrencies, right? But the tech is there, the tools are there, and NFTs are a distraction. Because
Well,
it's that, but it's also not that. And you can totally like get into NFTs and still never
mm-hmm.
touch crypto. Like,
Yeah. Well,
use a custodian platform. I just saw news like, oh yay, I don't know which platform. Now you can buy NFTs with your Visa and MasterCard.
mm-hmm.
Done. Then who freakishly cares that it's minted on XYZ blockchain? And this is why blockchains, which I will not mention the name because they're not
Mm-hmm.
actual permissionless blockchains, they're just terrible, slow data ledgers that are not
Mm-hmm.
that just keep halting. That's why those things that are being minted over there aren't like part of don't share the crypto ethos. Just don't.
Yeah, in a lot of cases. So, for example, for me personally, I stopped using fiat pretty much in
I
2015,
know.
right?
I know.
And
You're the weirdo for sure.
yes, but so for me, it's not necessarily a distraction because where else do I have to go? I already completed that mission. Doesn't mean I'm
Yeah.
not still working on it.
Okay.
But now it's time to like pull new things back, you know? And
Fair
so
enough.
just like for example in 2017 I think I dumped Windows and started using Linux. And then I started doing like VPNs and stuff and I started using Signal and other encrypted messengers and stuff. And I like bit by bit, you know, overused pun, but you know, bit by bit been clawing back my freedom from the powers that be. And so this is one of those latest things where I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to build a community? How am I going to monetize subscribers? How am I going to do all these things? It's like, well, you could do like YouTube ad revenues and then have that converted to crypto and all this kind of stuff. You could shill products and do that stuff. Or, you know,
Do a good old ICO, Joel. Like, do a
yeah.
good one. Like, just
But
do a
also I'm
good
thinking,
utility token. A Jojo Inu token. That's fun.
yes, Dodo Inu. Right?
That's a good one.
That would be crazy. Well, I mean, I might have a token at some point, but
And with the links, obviously you have to do a desert links. A
yes.
desert links Inu. Or, whatever. No, not an Inu.
It's funny
Let's not do
because
it there.
Lynx is not an Inu. Lynx is a kitty cat.
I know. So it doesn't
Yes.
work. What's a kitty cat blockchain? I mean, Ethereum. Just do a Joel links ERC20, a good old ERC20.
Yeah, and pay out the ass with fees anytime I want to
Yeah,
send
but
it
it's
around.
worth it. At least your subscribers will know that they have that token forever, and they don't have to jump through 300 hoops to get like a weird wallet installed. Cough, cough.
Yeah. That's just because you like the principles. Well, let's just hit on that anyway. So, we, as part of this entire thing, I decided, because I ask a lot of people to spend time chatting with me on my show, on my little egotistical trip of like, look at me, I'm trying to talk about important things, and other people are on, and they're just like, you know what? I don't know who this weirdo is, but he won't leave me alone. And he asks when my vacation's over so I can come back on his stuff. So like, I figure I want to give back to the community of podcasts. So here, just at this point, this is just a representation. But you're the
It's
first
so
person.
Cute.
Yes, and of course
so nice.
I did pay crypto to have this design made.
That's beautiful. Joel, that's
So,
pretty. That's very pretty.
You're the first recipient of the Digital Cash Rundown exclusive NFT for subscribers. So obviously this is it's a gift of people who are on the show. Obviously I could just make this pure JPEG, just pure GIF, sorry. And just be a thing where you or just like, oh, look, I got a shiny collectible that like only people that have actually been on the show know. They actually have that, and that's it. That's enough just as commemorative. It has utility. But I have a Discord channel that I'm in the process of setting up. It's not completely done. But the only way to get into that channel, it checks if you have a certain NFT, and it won't let you in unless you have an NFT in your wallet. And so the only way to get in and actually chat and interact and stuff is to possess one of these things, which means I hope you don't get rid of this one. I will be selling other ones in the future for other people, for lesser human beings. But so let's just say you spend $100 worth of crypto buying one of these things. And then at some point my channel becomes huge, and then you got exclusive access forever. You can resell that on the open market, and for like 5 times as much exclusive access to this thing. And I get like 3% of that resale fee when you do it on that, so in perpetuity. So this is a really cool thing that I could not do without crypto/NFTs. And so, yes, you didn't pay anything, but you paid your time, and like dealing with me and my nonsense. So yeah, you got the first one, and that's the representation of that. And I will finish getting you set up with a receptacle to receive this thing, and then I will walk you through once my Discord server is properly permissioned and set up, getting in there, and then you'll be in there forever, and it'll be.
You're too cute.
Yeah.
You're too cute. You're too sweet.
Yeah, and so you're gonna.
I don't need no NFT, by the way, to be on your show. You know that it's always just a pleasure.
Well.
And I love our crypto banter, and I can't believe we've never met. And
but you own
and it's an interesting step that you're taking in to connect with your community and all of that. And I love how you I love how you keep trying, basically. Like, I'm just too lazy, so you keep trying, and I'll be right there supporting you. And I feel honored that I'm the first one. Does that mean that the pleb gets like a non-shiny one? I want to make sure that mine feels special forever.
Yeah.
Do they get like silver, bronze, and I get like a shiny gold forever?
Well,
and your other guests.
The thing is,
and then pleb.
So here,
then you can do like diamond ones, like platinum.
Here's the way this whole scam works. So, first of all, let me just open this thing up.
I need to ask, why that blockchain though? Jesus, Joel.
We'll have to go into that.
Can we bridge it? Because
the basic one is just like the shiny logo. It doesn't have the microphone.
Okay.
The microphone is only for people. That's the one you can actually you will be able to buy. But the microphone's only for people who've been on the show. And now here's the other kicker. I have and this is more incentivization, right? I'm starting to tap into your lizard brain wanting to collect shiny things. People who have been on the show at least 10 times, which is a lot of times, will get a custom design just for them, for the 10-person club, and get upgraded. You're not quite there as far as I know, but you're close. Funny enough, my buddy Kodak's, or Spencer, he already hit the 10-person club before I even came up with this stuff. So I owe him 2 NFTs. But it'll be, we're going to start getting into this.
I don't have anything to give you right now, but I can give you this chocolate coin that they gave at Money 2020.
I'm going to just if you can hold it still and spin it enough, I can just make an NFT out of that, send it back to you.
Yeah, there you go. That's for the other people. That's for the plebs. Aww. Yes. What? I don't have anything else around. Ooh, do you want an optimism sticker?
Yeah, I guess so. OP.
Ooh, okay. You know what I'm going to NFT?
Yes.
My stickers, my sticker book. By the way, that's the Ethereum sticker that I made for Dev Connect. And then, so I'm definitely a collector of stickers.
Well,
and
consider
I'm
these
honored
digital
to be
stickers.
collecting your. Yeah, you see, no, I'm a paper girl. I don't. This is why the whole digital thing doesn't work on me. But I like it. It's shiny and you made it moving, so I like that.
Yes.
and I'm you know what? I'll come on as many times as you want, Joel. You know that.
Yes. I'll get you on enough times. Now here's the thing. I'm not 100% sure if I'd have to if I can do this or if I'd have to remint the NFT with something like that. But there's a possibility, the description of the thing has says what it's for and stuff. And I can there's a way, and I just have to modify, because I'm not a coder really, but I know the smart contract, and maybe I can figure it out on my own, modifying a couple parameters to make it work to where I could interact with the mutable data of this NFT. So for example, every time you come on the show, I could change it to make it say,
that's too much work.
Here's another time.
That's too forget
but
that.
It's
that's
cool.
But your time is precious. Your time is precious. I have to ask, why not just a pull-up? Because that works. Yeah.
What's that?
Where's my phone?
I'm a little siloed into things.
A proof of attendance protocol. They're now minted on the Gnosis, and they don't cost you a thing to mint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For lots of
No?
reasons. So
You don't like it? It's
first
so
off,
user friendly. The app is user friendly. I, as an organizer, at all the events that I organize, I meant to pull up. Then I get all those Ethereum addresses. And in the
mhm,
future, once I see that someone has gone to, I don't know, like you're just mentioning 10 times on the show, someone has come to
mhm,
10 or 5 crypto canal meetups, they
mhm.
get a special, shiny one or something. Like it's the same concept, except I'm not. No one. I mean, you could sell them for those that really wanted it and are not there at the meetup or event or something like that. But I wouldn't make any money off of the resale. Is that what's important to you? Is to be able to actually monetize this?
Um, that's part of it.
Mm,
Well, definitely not what I'm sending to you guys. It's just like
mm,
that's just a nice thing. But what
yeah.
I want to do is put up just like basic subscriber things, because the problem
Mm.
is, one thing I realized with this like CoinTree chat, other than CoinTree is not maintained, so who knows if it even works well anymore. But
It doesn't. It worked
no,
really well. I
well, I
I
don't
had
know.
no. I haven't had any problems with it so far. You feel like it's not?
So
It's getting buggy.
but it's just the user experience is clunky. Of, oh, you got to open it, you got to, like, well, people just want to watch the show and converse in the live chat, right? They just want to do that. And
Mm.
I've given, like, people who have donated before, I've given them freebies where I see them in the regular live chat and been like, all right, well, I know you're going to donate anyway, so I'm just going to answer that stuff. So here's the thing. What if you give them a shiny thing that's like, oh, this is cool, this has value, let them buy a shiny thing. You get into the Discord, I can link the Discord down at the screen right here, where like the live chat channel shows up there, so they can just in real time be conversing and asking questions and talking on the show. And you only have to like go through like buying this thing once, and then there you're just in. And then if you just get bored of it, you can always like resell it later and make a bunch of money off of it, maybe. I don't know. And so it solves so many interesting little things. And having this, it's another thing I'd really like to do, because I got locked out of my house the other day, and it turns out that luckily we left like something open, and so I managed to get back in. But
Oh.
what I'd like to do is have the property deed on my phone as an NFT, that if I show proof of NFT, it opens the lock automatically, which you can do today. I think someone I was chatting with, I might upload the interview next week, was talking about exactly that thing about being able to, about how it's possible today to have like a keypad type thing, that if you broadcast a little transaction, you sign the transaction saying, yes, I own this NFT, then it literally will open a door. And so imagine how cool would that be, where you just like give your people like a commemorative NFT, and they can come into your bar or whatever like that. And it's like, just like the possibilities are endless with this. And I want to start going
I
down the
don't want
road of
to.
not just
Okay. I.
dreaming things up, but of doing the things,
I'll be on the sideline supporting you, and I will not
Hmm.
sell my NFT. I promise, for the next 5 years.
Okay.
And if I
And then
do,
it's
I
like,
will only sell it for Dash, because that would be in the spirit of this podcast and of you. Uh, that would be my coin of choice. I think the
yeah.
best way, by the way, to interact more with people is not like to have them pay
Hmm.
for stuff. Um, like right now, I'm just looking at YouTube, and I
Hmm.
would encourage the people that are watching us to ask me anything.
Hmm.
Just do one of those. Like, really,
Yeah.
this is a call to anyone that's listening right now. Don't, I know we've been like rambling now for an hour and a half, but
Hmm.
like, ask me anything. I will candidly answer anything right now. And I think
Yeah.
I realized that the other day when I was doing my Crypto 101, because usually I'm just like on track, and I sort of like do my
Hmm.
bit, I go through the PowerPoint, you know what I mean? Like I'm like on a sort of automatic, almost like I'm teaching you. So I'm sort of like, but I realized this time I really paid much more attention to the chat, and it was really nice to incorporate more questions, and there was
Hmm.
so much more engagement. And Crypto 101, by the way, that's my free class every month.
Yeah.
It's free, right? But like just engaging with people more, I got more out of the class as well, because suddenly like the teaching experience was different. It felt much more like I was in tune with all these people that had logged in, you know, that I don't know, that are just stumbling upon me for the first time. And I would just really encourage that directly. And the fact that we have to pay for anything in a world where everything is free, access is free, we put content out for free. Monetizing your content is really difficult.
So here's where we
Really.
get to the scarcity element of things.
Yeah.
Value divided by scarcity equals price, right? So at any point when people want something, there's always, and that's one thing where I started to, like, when I saw people were funding shows and like art stuff through NFTs, like, oh, buy an NFT of this song or whatever like that. At first I was just like, are you just scamming people? Are you just like monetizing like for the sake of monetizing? Or like, why would anyone buy that thing? And then I realized that like, that is, what is the scarce resource of value that the artist is giving in exchange for finances, right? And so I was drilling down that principle, and I was thinking the scarcity thing, the scarce thing is them, exclusivity. That's why autograph things sell for a lot, for example.
Yeah. And that's why it costs much more to have me for a 3-hour personal class, right?
Yes.
It costs 500 times more. It's that's the exponential part, right? Like, you can ask anything to me right now in public and it's free. But you want privacy. It sounds like a different type of jobs or a different industry. But if you want privacy,
a private dance,
and you want just a moment where it's just me and another person, and we dive into that person's finance or that person's history or their goals regarding cryptocurrency.
Do you want to explain what you do before people keep getting the wrong impression?
You can ask me anything. No, it's the Crypto Deep Dive. So the Crypto Deep Dive is a 3-hour personal sort of crypto coaching session. And that costs a lot of money, right? But people love it. And the crypto, so you get the free part, right? You get the 101. I don't share everything. In 1 hour, there's no way I can share everything that I know. And then for the sort of, personalized crypto class that I'll have with people. Yeah. And people are happy to pay for that as well, I've noticed. There's no one has ever told me like, oh my God, that's too expensive, or that was like overpriced, or I feel like as long as you give out, because they know that I'm generous, they know that I won't skim on them, and that those 3 hours will be wasted or something like that. I don't know. It's interesting. And hey, we're both community managers in a way, and so it's interesting to see just different models at play, really.
Yeah. And now add in an NFT, where if you book one of those 3-hour sessions, you come away with, you get an NFT.
They get NFT. They get a pull-up. It's an NFT.
There you go. So
they already do.
So what the hell have you been on my ass for this whole time? You literally sold out before me.
It's just because it's not. It doesn't cost anything. They can't really sell it after. I mean, they could, but it doesn't. I don't make money off of it. Yeah. So I like the whole pull-up experience thing. I think there's something about NFTs and ticketing as NFTs that is fine. I just think that you choose another blockchain.
I just saw in this live chat comment, crypto session with a happy ending with laughing face. Yeah. So
that's cost a lot more money.
Yes, that's a little pricier, you gotta, but that's exactly
that's 32 ETH.
I mean, there's this whole subject of value and the communication of value through money and scarcity and all this stuff is just endlessly fascinating to me, because and we'll just go with Nodak Lojak, whatever the hell that means, his comment about the happy ending and stuff. Think about like online adult films and stuff. Like, I'm sure the adult industry was like, I'm sure it was a lucrative thing, like, oh, you sell out to make porn or whatever. Like, I'm sure that was a thing at some point, but then at some point the market got flooded with free internet content. And then it's like, okay, well then where is the scarcity? And then you hit OnlyFans, where the OnlyFans revolution you know, turned
Gorgeous.
turned into you still have the scarcity now where people are paying a lot of money because it's not just it's anyone. It's like, well, no, it's like only this person who I like, and only, you know, and I'm assuming a lot of them like gave subscriber perks and stuff like, oh, if you pay this
Yeah.
much, you're this subscriber, I will say anything you want, or I'll take specific requests, or, you know, that kind of stuff. And I mean, just because it's not that industry doesn't mean it's not still applicable. It's like, how do we still give someone something that is like restrictive, like that's provably unique? Like, are you going to email them and say, like, some people, if they get an email from a celebrity or a text saying, hey, thanks for watching the show, really appreciate you, bud, thumbs up, people are like, oh my gosh, they save that email forever, and then it gets deleted because of something. Oh, and then they hate themselves, or like,
Well,
just send them an
now
just
that
send them an
email is going to
NFT
be
of
on a
it.
weird that email is going to be on a weird server, and it's going to be on a weird wallet that you never
Yeah,
access.
yeah, but just
It's
send
my
them an NFT.
only problem right now with your setup. It's the only thing.
Is
But
and
it's an experiment, and you can always
yeah,
bridge all those things and all those assets to another blockchain. You know, Viva interoperability.
yeah. Well, that's exactly the thing.
Yeah.
Is like, I'm looking at the top of the pyramid and going down. I'm just like, I had a very similar, a very quick, a very short list of things of what am I going to actually use to make these things. And it's like, okay, well, first off, I have to be able to afford them. So on-chain Ethereum, out of the question permanently. Just, well, I don't know, permanently. Let's see if the merge
I'm
helps.
sending you the plug thing. I can't believe you don't know about it.
But on-chain minting, absolutely not. Now, then you do like off-chain stuff. I still haven't like wrapped my head around L2s. I try to use them. I tried to use loop ring at one point and they just gave up and stuff. So at some point maybe. But then I'm like, the next thing is, it has to be, you have to be able to use IPFS based images and stuff. So you can't, it's not like an OpenSea thing where OpenSea owns everything. You have to be able to like truly own the NFT in all the pieces of it. And then I was like, well, which ones have options for practical usage? And I know that there's Discord bots and things like that that check for NFT ownership, and there's like people building those kinds of practical things on Wax, and to a lesser extent Ethereum. I've tried so hard with Ethereum, I never came up with anything useful. But if someone is able to find me ways of doing all this stuff on some sort of an Ethereum roll up or whatever, I could, I could experiment with that too. Of course, one of the prime, one of the best parts about the upcoming Dash platform is the ability is basically making non-fungible tokens as digital identities / usernames. The challenge with that is, out of the box, first off, it's not out yet, but out of the box, it's not going to include any transferability. Like, you won't be able to transfer. You can mint an NFT, but just not quite transfer to another user right away. So they'll have to figure that out. But after that, also, like, having a secondary marketplace is a huge thing too, where you can like trade. And so, and not like OpenSea. I'm not touching OpenSea with a 10-foot pole. Like, screw that. But anyway, so that's a
We'll
very
keep
long ramble.
experimenting. No.
We should probably wrap this thing up
Yeah,
officially.
yeah. I don't see any question except the crypto session with a happy ending. I was happy to be here. For anybody that wants to stay connected with me, there is no, for now, gated community going on, but you can always follow me on Twitter at blockblank, or join the Crypto Canal community on Telegram. And yeah, Joel, thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you for giving me, oh, we'll figure it out once I get my Wax wallet, but thank you for giving me the first special digital
shiny.
cash network podcast NFT. Look at that. Oh, yeah. So pretty, so shiny. Yes. And yeah, thank you so much, Joel. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, keep living in the land of the free. Absolutely. And inspiring others to do like you. I'll
keep doing everything I can. So everyone, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. New NFT drop coming soon, which is now going to sound like so cringy to say every single time. I'm going to be wearing a monkey t-shirt before you know it. And yeah, so I will see you guys next week. And
subscribe, follow him.
Yes. Let's get
Donate
this
on the
right.
coin tree. Do
There we
your
go.
job.
There it is.
Ah. I still
And yeah,
can't do it.
look forward to all kinds of cool stuff. And I will send you some crypto if you can figure out how to mirror a Jitsi call, so that we
Yes,
don't have
please.
any
So
complaints.
I stopped
next
doing
time.
this the whole time. Please help me.
Yeah, that whole
not-
thing. All right, cool. Bye, everyone.